I'm at the schools. That's why I work. I don't work at our head office in Ilovo here because I like the sound of children. When they're playing, they're making noise. The first group that arrives at about 6:30, I'm there. I'm at the schools. So as a result, I've always been an early morning person. So I don't do dinners. So even getting me to this dinner, there was a lot of coaxing. No, you have to go, this dinner. I'm like, no, I don't do dinners. So I'm not going. I'm not going to the dinner. You want to see me? Let's do breakfast. Let's do breakfast. So I'm going to get one up, especially because I know, she's not well. So it was easy to say, no, I go. Once I agreed to go to this dinner, yeah, go, we'll see when we come back. Anyway, thank you. I just don't have words. I don't have words to say thank you. Words just escape me. And it started many years ago. We went to school together with Judy. So she was 14 and I was 16. We were at boarding school together in a Roman Catholic school. And the nuns, us boys were allowed to even go to Pinetown and we would go to Durban and so on, but girls were always locked up like in prison. Somehow we found a way to go out together. And she was 14 and I was 16 years old. We didn't tell our children this because they were not allowed to have boyfriend and girlfriend until they were 18. 18, gotta have a boyfriend. Otherwise, in a naughty corner. Anyway, they soon found out that when they add the sums don't quite add up. Anyway, and Prof and Sis Hazel, you were already married when you qualified. So I got to Forte University in 1976. You remember 1976? 1976, and we were first years. I'm coming to do BCom marketing. I don't know what this marketing is about. And in March that year, and I stood up when the MC here was asking students of Prof to stand up, by him, with Tomato here and others. He didn't teach us as first years. He was teaching honors and senior students. But there are many of us today who are CAs because he became one. So, and I used to see this guy, he came from Ghana, I don't know how did he find out about the CA thing. Anyway, we just decided, okay, it sounds like he's the first one. Okay, so we're also going to do this thing. So I changed from this marketing that I was doing, and I would have been a lousy marketer anyway, to this accounting thing. And you had to go to UNISA because none of the universities were accredited. You had to sort of go back and do your third year and fourth year because obviously Forte was not accredited. To cut a long story short, 1983, I passed, on my wedding day with Judy, I passed the honors at UNISA, BCom the honors. And I'm writing the board exam in March that year. Prof, what you didn't tell me was how the formula you had prepared because I failed. I failed the board exam. And Judy will know that the second time around, I just didn't want to do any work at all. And she had to push me, switch the TV off, and I found a way to duck and find somewhere to watch TV and not read and not prepare. Anyway, I failed 4 times. I failed 4 times before I passed the board exam. And I often tell young people that, you know, if you want something, you're not written on your forehead that you failed, right? And in fact, I learned a lot more about myself during that period of failing, trying second time, third time. Someone Zaluba is not here, and him and I, when I was writing for the third time, so in Durban, there was this, so Judy was at medical school, right? So we would go to DQ, where the students were, but there was this restaurant down the road that sold dagwood. So Sango and I would meet in the morning, pretending to study, and at 10 o'clock, we'd go and buy dagwood. After dagwood, you know, dagwood is big. After dagwood, there's no study. No study going on. Anyway, both of us failed again. So, but fast forward, you know, a lot of things have happened. And they wouldn't have happened had it not been for the support that I have, you know, from my family. My broader family, because we are communal people. So our family as Africans, it's not just your wife and your children, it's a whole family. I mean, you saw, they're not even all of them here. This is just a little tiny fraction, because I guess this was a secret. You know. And yeah, I mean, it's been an amazing journey. And I just want to thank my family, my children, my grandchildren. My eldest daughter is not here. She's battling cancer, so she couldn't be here. And it's really been, I was just saying to Patricia, I was looking at this beautiful dress that she's got on. I didn't know the artwork is actually, it was designed by someone who's a survivor of breast cancer. Because, you know, my elder daughter just had a double mastectomy. So I was looking at this design of Patricia's dress, and she was telling me the story behind it. You know, so my children, my grandchildren inspire me. That's why I spend more time, you know, if I'm not working, I'm with my children and grandchildren. Obviously Judy all the time is always there, right? But that's just my life. You can map my life on a graph. Typically I don't see friends, because whatever time I have, especially because the last 3 years I've been spending almost half the year in Denmark trying to chase this PhD story, and our business is to run back here. So when I'm back here, it just means Judy and the family must keep things going, because I'm busy writing papers and trying to become a doctor. And you know, Judy is now on she's doing a PhD, a third one. Well, she's a medical doctor, did a PhD, she's doing a third PhD. So you understand, you know, so the score is still 3-1. But we don't compete. But the score is 3-1. That's what I'm saying. We love what we do. We care for our children, we care for our country, we believe our children have what it takes compared to any child in the world. That's why, you know, last week, Monday and Tuesday, we hosted this international conference on learning and teaching. And we had delegates from China, India, Malaysia, you know, Europe, the US, and so on. Our schools were hosting this conference, and we invited the Department of Basic Education. We worked with them. Because the whole idea of what we do is not private schools that say, come to us because the public system is not working. We started the schools and this whole education ecosystem that we now have, the privilege of working with. And we have people who are here. Werner Abrahams is the CEO of ISFAP. We funded more than almost 4,000 students at universities. You know, as you saw in the video, raised more than 3 billion rand to fund students. We do these things because there's so much negativity, and you know, the MC Bomani Bimo was talking about them in the media. Just every day they're just confronted with this negativity. We believe our children have what it takes, and there's nothing in their DNA that makes them any less than any child that comes from anywhere. Doesn't matter where they are. You know, I now take teachers, the best teachers from the Department of Basic Education, we expose them to learning and teaching in other countries. So I take them to Denmark, they go to schools, they come back and implement what they do in our country here. And we exchange. Our children at our schools have exchanges with children in Kenya, in other countries, in Europe and so on, because it's about opportunity. It's about opportunity. If you get that opportunity, you can be anything as long as you are told and you believe yourself that you can be what it takes. So I wouldn't have been what I am had it not been for Prof. Nkuhlu. It just shows the power of exposing us to another world, a different world that sometimes we didn't even believe existed. And I just want to thank SAICA for this recognition. You know, getting a lifetime award is a bit scary because you're going to die. That's the next thing that's going to happen to you. And for those who know me, I don't have this word called retirement in my dictionary. I just carry on working, you know, because I love what I do. And what I do now is by far the most complex thing that I've ever done, this thing called education, but it's the most fulfilling thing I've ever done. Starting an audit firm, running telecoms, I mean, those things are great, but education is really complex, but it's really fulfilling. The little contribution that you make in the lives of children is just immeasurable. You can't even measure it. So I just want to thank my family, Judy. 51 years. We're still going. We're still going. Thank you guys. I just have to